Alright, hey guys, Switchy here. I'm assuming you're at this video because you watched my most recent video, the comprehensive roast of Total Drama Island, which is essentially this whole long-form review of the show Total Drama Island. This is originally meant to be a part of the episode itself, or the video itself, where I just go into the characters in a little tier list thing, but I realized, this video is already long enough. I think this could either be a separate thing or... I think I'm just gonna make this very casually. This isn't scripted at all. I probably won't even be editing this very much, even with my shitty stutters. It's just something to kind of talk about, characters that really kind of like stood out to me or didn't stand out so much. So it's a tier list of the characters. So one thing I want to say is that this is about the characters only during Total Drama Island. So I'm not ranking them in their performance or how they acted or what I enjoyed about them or didn't enjoy about them in seasons 2, 3, and beyond. So these characters are being ranked on Total Drama Island and their performance and what I liked about them. And these are just my favorite characters, me ranking my favorites. I'm not saying that my opinion's better than yours or your opinion isn't as good as mine. I think, I'd love to see what you guys think, who your favorites are, who your least favorites are, And, so I've got S tier, A tier, B tier, C tier, D tier, and F tier. F tier is a character I'd absolutely despise. I hate them. I think they're the worst of the worst in the show, and they just make everything worse. They ruin the show, or at least make the show worse. D tier is not as, like, a dislike, but not as, like, passionate, if that makes sense. I just don't really take much of a liking to them. I think they probably do make the show worse, but not like super worse. They just might have a few lines or moments where you're just like, ugh, and they halt or hinder your enjoyment of the show. C tier is pretty much average. I don't like them that much. I don't hate them that much. They're just, they don't do much to stand out. That's what'll be a lot of these characters. And I'll usually either think they're average or I'll just have mixed feelings on them. B tier is a character that I like a lot. I think they're great. And I think they're very enjoyable to watch. I think they make the show better. I think they're, good characters. And A tier is among my personal favorites. Like, these are like the top tier characters for me, like characters that are like very important to the show, and I think they're great and they're very important to my enjoyment of the show. And S tier is a tier for just like my absolute special, super favorite characters that I think just make the season, like make what I love about the season like so great. I don't know. Like these characters are like major highlights. I'm gonna remove this stupid cookie thing. Okay, so to kind of like map out how I'm thinking about these characters, what I'm first probably gonna do is take like a model character from each tier and like put them. And the thing is, I don't have any characters in D or F tier really. I think these don't need to be filled. The reason I'm still including them in the screenshot here is because if I were to potentially do a tier list of other seasons characters, like if I were to do a tier list about the characters in Action or the characters in World Tour, or God forbid, the Revenge of the Island, I might actually need those kinds of D and F tiers. So I'm just keeping them there just to kind of like, for later use. And later use and later comparison, if that makes sense. So a model C character, a character that I think defines the C role for me, is Ezekiel. Just because there's nothing he really does that like changes the show in any significant way. He's only there 2 episodes, and even in like the last 2, in like the episodes where he comes back after he's been eliminated, he doesn't even do anything that interesting. I think the only really notable thing about him is his comments about women, which I'm sure some of you hate him for, but, it's whatever for me. I just think he's like, there's nothing like really making him all that special to me. So I decided, C tier. I have mixed feelings on him. I don't think he's like that great, but I don't dislike him. I think the show kind of needs characters like Ezekiel because, like, if it was, I think it kind of, the cast needs to be like 20 characters, and when there's like 22 characters, it's hard to make them all like super compelling. A model B tier character would probably be DJ. Sorry. A model B tier character would probably be DJ just because I think I like him. I think he's good. I think he's enjoyable. But I don't know. I don't think he's like one of my all-time favorites really that special. I think he's, just a good character in the show. Yeah, I mean, I like his kind of shtick of like the kind of like like the jock, the guy who's good at sports but is also like super shy and stuff. I think that's, it's kind of funny. A model A tier character would definitely be Duncan. I love Duncan. I think he's one of the best characters on the show. Pretty much everything, like, well, I mean, I think he has basically a great moment in every episode he's in. I think he's one of the driving forces for both conflict and, like, I guess, drama in the show. I don't know. I think the staff liked him too. They really seemed to have fun writing him because he's kind of like sassy. I don't know if sassy is the right word, but he's rebellious. He's kind of like mean, I guess. He's kind of an anti-hero character, but you still see him like be human, like be vulnerable in certain areas, especially with a certain other character. And yeah. So a model S tier character for me would be Heather. I mean, I think Heather probably in the entire show is the best villain. She does have some competition, but I think Heather is so consistently just like menacing and mean and vicious that she just keeps the show going at its pace. I think she's like the foundation for the show itself, really the first season at least, and I don't know, she's the driving force of conflict and really a great villain. I think the way she falls and like her like downfall as a character in the episode where she loses her hair and stuff is a very good way to like end her off for me personally. I don't know. I think Heather's great. She's one of my favorite characters in the show. Probably one of my favorite characters in cartoons generally, to be honest. I love her. I think she's super funny, super mean, super nasty, and I don't know. I got a thing for those kinds of characters, to be honest. And now I'm going to be going in just whatever order. I think I'm going to put Beth in B tier. B for Beth. I think she's enjoyable, but she doesn't stay too long, and I don't know. I think certain people probably wouldn't like her that much. But for me, the highlight of Beth is probably the episode before she gets eliminated, when she kind of like the episode before the episode when she gets eliminated, when she kind of stands up against Heather. And first, like, starts like the first like cracks in Heather's alliance, which is kind of interesting. But generally, I mean, I don't know. She's not like super good, but generally, I think she's kind of enjoyable. I like her relationship with Lindsay. Another B tier character would be Cody. For similar reasons to Beth, I think they're similar characters in general. I mean, they're both kind of nerdy. They both are kind of weird, and they don't really socialize as like comfortably as other people in the show. And they also got like left pretty early, but I think Cody's pretty fun. I like his kind of like dorky relationship with Gwen. I think that's enjoyable about him. But I will say, third season, Cody's a great character. I think Cody gets a lot better in the third season, and he's still pretty good in this season. So I like Cody a lot. He's just, there's just nothing too like outrageously entertaining about him. Bridget. Bridget's probably B tier as well. B tier is probably like the tier that I'm putting most characters in. I think it's where the character's probably like, I guess that's the top of the bell curve for this show. And I like Bridget a lot. She's B tier. She's fun. I think she's cool, but I never really think that much about her. I never really like consider her like super outrageous or outstanding throughout the show. But I think she's not like a bad character. She's not even an average character. I think she's enjoyable. Same goes for Jeff. Jeff is similar to Bridget. I mean, I think the Killer Bass in general have a lot of B tier characters, and just because I feel like the Screaming Gophers got a bit more attention when it comes to like the characters, and it also helps that they had Heather for the first half of the show before the merge, because Heather certainly drives a lot more conflict in the Killer Bass within the Screaming Gophers than conflict in the Killer Bass. So I think that I think you don't really see as many iconic moments in the Killer Bass, and that goes for a lot of the characters who just don't stand out too fantastically. For example, like Gwen is similar in many ways to Bridget. I think Gwen and Bridget and Trent and Jeff are often parallel characters, just because they I don't know, they have similar dynamics, in terms of their relationship with each other. I think Gwen and Trent, there was a lot more time spent with their relationship than Jeff and Bridget. And because of that, I think Gwen is a more enjoyable character, along with the fact that Gwen, her goth charm's enjoyable. She's like sassy, she's kind of rude, and she's definitely like one of the most developed characters throughout the entire show, or the first season at least. So I think Gwen's one of the best characters in the show. Yeah. And similar to Gwen, Owen, I think I say they're similar in the way that like I like them for a lot of the same like meta reasons, in the sense that they were both there in the show long enough that you really kind of learn to love them. I think they're probably the best pair of finalists in the entire show, and like of all the seasons. Owen's one of the funniest characters in the show for sure. I think he's a great character for comic relief. Yeah. Noah is a B tier character. He probably would be an A tier character if he was there longer, but he wasn't he wasn't in the show too long to really like make him lovable and make him like a major player and like figure throughout the season. But I still think Noah's great. I think he's really funny. His sarcasm is very, very enjoyable. And yeah, I think, sarcasm. That's really the reason people like Noah, and I like him too, so I can't like judge too much. Eva's C tier, just because, she doesn't do much. She leaves really early. I think my favorite episode with her is probably the episode where she comes back for the pain challenge, and she pisses everyone off just because of how like hostile she is to Bridget, and like how angry she is, and how everyone's kind of scared of her. But really, like, she doesn't do much. She's just like a lot of other characters. But I still like her. I still think she's average. I don't dislike her. But yeah, she's whatever. Justin's similar. The thing about Justin is that he's one joke, and that's not necessarily a bad thing, because it's not like the joke went on for that long. But when you find out that his voice actor was only in one episode, he only talked in one episode, and he only really made any major things happen in like 3 others, where something happens, his shirt falls off, and then everyone's like in love with him, everyone's smitten. That's the joke with him. But really, there's nothing really that like crazy about him, which is a shame. And I think it's interesting because in the special that followed Total Drama Island along with Total Drama Action, they basically revamped the character, and he ends up talking a lot and becomes like a minor antagonist in the second season. And he's a lot better in the second season for sure. The last 2 C tier characters I think would probably be Katie and Sadie, just because like sometimes they're funny, but other times they're really annoying. They can be really annoying, but they can also be okay. So I think they're a very mixed feelings kind of like duo in this fucking like tier list, in the C tier especially, just because like they're not like someone I just don't feel anything about. I feel things about them, and I feel like sometimes they're kind of funny, sometimes they're not so funny, so they kind of average out to C tier. Thing about them is just, they're a gimmick. They don't overstay their I guess Sadie kind of overstays her welcome, but basically once Katie leaves, she just doesn't do anything for like 4 episodes, and then she leaves as well. So they don't do anything outrageously offensive, but I think the episode where Katie gets kicked off in the forest, they're pretty annoying. It's not that interesting of a like conflict between them. My favorite episode with them is probably episode like 22. I think that's the one where they all come together in the like the resort for eliminated campers. They're actually pretty enjoyable. Them along with Noah, like they kind of like are a center and they're major characters throughout that episode, and they're pretty enjoyable, or at least more major than they usually were. Tyler, I'm stuck between B and C tier. I'm gonna go with B, just because his relationship with Lindsay, who's a B tier character for sure. Yeah, Tyler is probably my least favorite character in the B tier, and it's not like he's a bad character, it's just that, like, I don't know, I don't really care that much for his gimmick. I think he's actually one of the least popular characters, like, actually, or at least in the show they said that. In the 3rd season, Tyler mentions being the least, like, least, like, popular camper in the entire show, even less so than Ezekiel. I don't know. Tyler doesn't do much for me, but I think he is, like, a step above the C tier characters because he has a bit more, like, dynamic of personality, and I think, his relationship with Lindsay kind of makes things a little bit more interesting about him, but I don't know. I think he's still B tier. I'm torn because I don't consider him on the same level as a lot of the B tier characters like DJ, Jeff, and Bridget, but I also don't consider him on the same level as, like, Ezekiel, Eva, and Justin. So, I don't know. He's B tier, I guess, but I don't know. That's subject to change. Izzy, I think I'm gonna put Izzy in A tier. Honestly, I think she's just so funny. I think she's just so enjoyable that I want her in A tier. She's not even like that important of a character, but she, like, I don't know, like there's too many iconic and funny things she says and does that putting her any like she's one of my favorites. And yeah, that's basically it. She's just funny and very enjoyable. Harold, I was kind of putting him off because I wasn't sure to put him in A or B because he is one of my favorites in B tier or one of my least favorites in A tier. I think I'm going to put him in B tier just because I think that, like, there are things I like about him. There are a lot of enjoyable moments with him, like his famous beatboxing scene and stuff, but I don't think he's, like, one of my favorites. I don't love him that much, but he is definitely one of the better characters in B tier, and I think he's good. I think he's good. Similar to Harold, I think Lashana is likable, but not like super likable. You know, there are fun moments with her, but I don't know. I guess she's not my typically preferred type of character or personality character. And I've been putting this off just because I wanted this to be dramatic. Courtney is going to be an S tier. I love Courtney. She's probably my favorite character in the show, even though she peaks in season 1 for sure. She's not nearly as good later on. But I think Courtney is just lovable. Lovable's kind of weird, but I think she and Duncan are my power couple for the show. I think she's just super funny, super kind of bossy, but in an enjoyable way. Her type A personality is just entertaining. That's what she is. She's just entertaining. I love her bossy personality. She, I don't know. She's definitely like, she's the staff's favorite character as well, to be honest, based on how much they love like bringing her into shit. And the final character I'll put is Trent's probably in B or A tier. I'm going to put A tier just because I think he and Gwen are such a good combo in this season. Yeah, just because, I don't know, he's cool. He plays guitar. I like that about him. But yeah. Sorry if you were expecting a more like super like in-depth video, but this is just me kind of like rambling about the characters. Hope you enjoyed it nonetheless. This is just, you know, supplemental material for the big beefy video. Yeah. So thanks for watching, guys. I wish you all the best. Make sure, if you haven't, to watch the comprehensive roast of Total Drama Island, because it's a big video, and I've been working on it for a long time. All right, I'll see you guys around.